I got an email. Email came in. Right here it is. God damn you. D. We're just going to call this gentleman D from North Carolina. Wrote, "Hey, Jim, I'm a lifelong wrestling fan and have been involved in the business running a promotion in the Mid-Atlantic area for the last 15 years. I got married 6 years ago and my wife wasn't a wrestling fan. While she enjoyed my shows, she didn't get it. In an effort to try and understand my love of it, she decided to watch weekly wrestling with me the last few months. I still watch to keep an eye on what bullshit they're passing off as the sport I grew up on, and I told her not to judge me. After 5 minutes of seeing Finger Bang McGee and his bullshit, she said, I'm good." Now, I must correct you there. We can't slander this man by calling him a made-up name. It's either Twinkle Toes McFingerbang or Putz McGee.
Finger Bang McGee.
Instead of Finger Bang. No, it's not Finger Bang McGee. We're getting... Anyway, he continues. "A few weeks later, she heard me listening to your podcast and heard me roaring with laughter, so she tried again with the watch-alongs. When the Midnight Express versus Magnum TA in Wrestling 2 was over and she heard the backstory, she looked at me and she said, I totally get it. That was awesome. What the fuck happened to that type of wrestling? So I've been showing her lots of NWA stuff and some WWF 80s to give her a full look. She also says she's an avid new listener of both shows and is happy she found someone who says fuck more than she does. Thank you guys for helping my wife respect the sport that I love." See there?
You know, that goes into something we've talked about a little bit. You know, I mentioned it last week where Suzanne walked into the office while I was reviewing AEW. Actually, it was on the drive-thru now that I think about it. In that, whether you like modern wrestling or you don't like it, a lot of people are within the wrestling bubble where they don't understand the way normal people outside of wrestling perceive wrestling. And the goofiness and the silliness of it, they don't cause people who aren't wrestling fans to go, let me sit down and check this out. It causes those people to scoff at wrestling.
And it's what stands out. It's the most attention-grabbing thing when you've got somebody doing a fucking, a goddamn Humpty Dumpty routine on the fucking show. Yes, of course it stands out. And then they go, what the fuck? This is ridiculous. As well, as a matter of fact, since you brought up Suzanne, we told that story last week. This week, I won't even wait for the review, just real briefly. Stacy, who has not watched a wrestling program in God knows how long, right, is fixing her. She's got the streaming to her flat screen in the chick cave, right? She has that. She's fixing her streaming TV. And up pops the cable and it's NXT. And she told me the next day, she said, I watched some of that last night, the Iron Man match. And of course, she knows Adam Cole from Ring of Honor. She said, wow, Adam Cole, he looks fucking great. He was great. And this, she couldn't pronounce Tommaso's name because he was there in Ring of Honor also, but he didn't look anything like what he looks now there. So she didn't know it was him, but he caught her eye as somebody. She said he was very impressive. She's judging by what I would have been impressed with in OVW 20 years ago. Right. So Adam Cole, yeah, fucking thumbs up. What a star. Tommaso, whatever his fucking name is. Wow, this guy's great. And she said the other two guys, especially the one that was really tiny, looked like two fucking interchangeable white guys, Finn Balor and Johnny Sameface. And yes, we know Finn Balor is an incredible athlete and a fucking superstar as far as his work and his athleticism and his dedication to the business. And we'll talk more about why nobody gets over in a four-way except and possibly even in sex later on in the review. But he's the kind of guy that unless you build things around him, he does not have an intriguing, he just looks like a normal person. He doesn't have an overly intriguing look, so he has to be focused on, you have to put things around him, because when he's just in a four-way all for himself match and there's another fucking white guy that's a little bit smaller and fucking short hair and a beard too, Guy like that gets lost in the mix with people who don't give a fuck, and you're trying to get them. You're trying to get the people that ain't watching, that used to watch, that know what the fuck they like, that used to be in the business, but now in a bubble are like, what the fuck? That's where, and we'll talk more about here in a few minutes, why that nobody else is getting interested, because they have no idea why these people are mad at each other and who's on whose side, which is wrestling 101. You've got to answer that question. But before we answer that question, after that email, Brian, I figured we might open up some kind of deal to be marriage counselors. Could we do that on the side? We got the podcast going now. We got the YouTube. We got the Patreon. Can we open up a service where all these poor wrestling fans who are trying to explain to their significant others why they watch this goofy shit, we can advise them on what to show them to help them understand why a normal person would want to watch this. It could be a very profitable, lucrative industry, could it not?
Well, potentially, but the email, I think, was a boyfriend and girlfriend, not a husband and wife, based on what you said.
Well, okay, relationship counselor then. Wait a minute, hold on here. He said, I got married 6 years ago and my wife.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, oh, see how well you listen to me?
Excuse me.
It's like I'm just fucking ranting and raving here. And besides that, marriage, you know, what are you, a prude? You a goddamn Protestant? You a fucking Puritan? You a pilgrim?
Maybe me and you need a marriage counselor.
Discriminate against people that aren't married, that are doing the old fucking hokey pokey? Bumping uglies, as they say.
Who says that?
Just because they're fornicating with each other without benefit of marital clergy doesn't mean they should be looked down upon and not helped with their various emotional problems.
I wasn't looking down on them. I was striving for accuracy.
You were judging.
I was not. You're the judgmental one, not me.
I would never be judgmental on a motherfucker.
But anyway, you want to start a marriage counseling service, I understand.
Yeah, that was the bit before we got off track. You fucking just got me on the wrong day. But that was the bit before we went off track, but now we're back on track. And if you don't want to cooperate in this with me, well, then I guess we just ought to send the people that maybe need somebody to talk to that'll treat them seriously and with some compassion and care, unlike you no good rat bastard, you gum-bumping sack of snake feces. They can call the folks at BetterHelp.
That's right.
Because the people at BetterHelp are professionals at this, not fucking jackoffs like we are.